Yeah, and everyone, welcome back to the Joe Squad. हमारे previous episode की तरह please keep appreciating us and इसलिए please subscribe to our channel before we dive into the video. So welcome back to another episode of What's Up This Week. We'll be going over the week's current affairs, what has been happening in and around the globe. So let's get on with it. We'll start with October 12th. The shortest good to know news lines and facts that have happened on October 12th. An express train hits stationary goods train. Write this. Yeah. Express train hits stationary goods train and a year of a year full of train accidents. Basically, this year has been a train accident, year. There have been a lot of train accidents that have been happening. If you but there are some big ones that you need to remember. Okay? We'll put it in another video. बाद में. Violation of UN premises known as the Blue Line in Lebanon, done by Israel. Violation says the UN Interim Force in Lebanon, UNFIL, which comprises of 10,500 peacekeepers from 50 nations, including India. Nobel Peace Prize 2024 goes to an organization founded in 1956 called the Nihon Hiryanko, which preserves the testimonies and memories of the survivors of the only two nuclear weapon attacks in human history at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The group has been a constant advocate for the nuclear disarmament and a ban on atomic weapons. Net direct tax collection grows 18% to about INR 11.25 lakh crore as of October 10th. Should focus on development, not expansionism, says Modi. PM addressed the 19th East Asia Summit in Laos. Where was it held? Laos. He emphasized the fact that peace, security, and stability in South China Sea are in interest of the entire Indo-Pacific region. He also spoke on how terrorism poses a serious challenge to global security and global peace and security. Strengthening the mutual cooperation in areas of cyber, maritime, and space were also discussed. India also endorsed Asians' approach to the situation in Myanmar and support the 5 point consensus. 5 point consensus is I won't go into detail abhi, but this is very important for respect of your GD and your lecturate. So please write this down and do a little bit of research. Otherwise, we'll put a video baad mein. A politics of possibilities. Elections in J&K testify that separatism is on its last legs. PM meets Laos counterpart, holds talks on ways to strengthen ties. This meeting was done on the sidelines of the 21st Asian Summit and 19th East Asia Summit. Talks were held on the ongoing restoration and conservation of Wat Pho, a UNESCO World Heritage Site under the assistance by AC, Archaeological Survey of India. Agreements in the fields of defense, broadcasting, custom operations, and 3 quick impact projects under Mekong Ganga cooperation were also exchanged. Irrational EU standards, unfair rules, hurting ties. The EU's irrational standards are hurting business ties and additional tariffs on the select imports that would force India to retaliate. The EU's proposed carbon border tax, known as the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism (CBAM), disrespects and seeks to demolish the premise of the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement. If you guys remember, there was a point regarding Nirmala Sitharaman, our finance minister, and CBAM. Okay, so if you've not seen the previous video, please go back to it and see it, because then you'll find a correlation. Okay, all of these stories, all of these points are correlated from previous past history that has happened in the past few weeks. So we've been covering it on a daily basis. CBAM levies tariffs on imports on high carbon goods, including steel, cement, and aluminum, which is very detrimental for the Indian economy. West Asia crisis. WTO cuts trade outlook. India to buck trade. WTO reduces its growth forecast for the volume of global merchandise trade in 2025 to 3% from 3.3%, amid the escalating West Asia region, which has blocked the crucial Red Sea shipping route for nearly a year. There is also a risk to the energy supply, as the region has a major role in petroleum production. WTO has noted that exports from India and Vietnam are rising. We'll move on to October 13 now. We'll start off with the shortest good to know facts. The LS Speaker Om Birla to lead the parliamentary delegation to the 149th Inter-Parliamentary Union Assembly. 149th Inter-Parliamentary Union Assembly to Om Birla, being held in Geneva next week. The 208 big ticket infrastructure projects of different ministries, including roads and railways, have been recommended for approval under the PM Gati Shakti initiative so far. They have been recommended by the Network Planning Group, constituted under the initiative launched in 2021. HAL is the newest Maharatna Central Public Sector Enterprise and thus becomes the 14th Maharatna CPSE. India didn't sign letter of support by 104 nations for Guterres after ban by Israel. India excluded itself from signing a letter which was signed by 104 countries. Some European and African countries and much of the global south also abstained. The letter condemned Israel for banning UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres from entering into Israel. India uh, with the has broken with the global south on a number of resolutions that are critical to Israel. This had happened also in the previous video. Israel had termed UN Secretary, UN Secretary Antonio Guterres as an enemy to Israel or an enemy to state, and they did not let him. They've basically banned him from ever entering the country. So that is there. Naga tribes body set deadline for government on autonomous territory. The Eastern Nagaland People Organization (ENPO) sets 31st October as the deadline for the Nagaland government to give the center its views on creating an autonomous territory comprising 6 districts of the state. The ENPO has been heading the demand for the creation of the Frontier Nagaland Territory (FNT). The demand or FNT stemmed from the state government alleged neglect of 6 eastern districts of Nagaland. Rajnath launches 75 infra projects across 11 states and union territories. The Defense Minister 2020 road, 51 bridge, and 2 miscellaneous projects constructed by the BRO, Border Road Organization. 19 projects are in J&K, 18 in AP, 11 in Ladakh, 9 in Uttarakhand, 6 in Sikkim, 5 in Himachal Pradesh, 2 each in West Bengal and Rajasthan, 1 each in Nagaland, Mizoram, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The Kupuk Sherathang road in Sikkim is crucial. UN's interim force condemns attack on peacekeepers. In a joint statement, 34 countries contributing troops to the United Nations interim force in Lebanon, again, important with respect to the current scenario that is going on, condemned the attacks. India is not among the 34 nations but aligns itself with it. The area under UNIFIL is called the Blue Line, which demarcates Lebanon from Israel. Articles to read. Important to know more about the Nobel Peace Prize 2024. No more Hibakusha. The Nobel Peace Prize for organization of the survivors of American nuclear bomb attacks on Japan is a recognition of its evocative push for abolishing nuclear weapons. This, again, we covered in the previous slide. So if you want to read more about this, the link is given in the description. October 14th, 2024. The short is good to know news, lines, and facts. Israel Defense Forces IDF tanks destroyed the main gate of a facility of the UN peacekeeping forces in Lebanon, and Israel openly asks UN Secretary General to withdraw the UNIFIL. Sorry for that. IDF, Israeli Defense Forces tanks destroyed the main gate of facility of the UN peacekeeping forces in Lebanon, and Israel openly asked UN Secretary General to withdraw the UNIFIL. The president's rule has been withdrawn from J&K, paving the way for the formation of a new government in the Union Territory. NC President Omar Abdullah will be the next chief minister. SpaceX successfully caught the first stage booster of its Starship mega rocket as it returned to the launch pad after a test flight, first of its kind activity. So those of you who've seen this, it's a revolutionary thing that has happened. What SpaceX has achieved, it has never been achieved, and it was a thing of science fiction. Okay? for a, I mean, for the longest time, ever since space exploration has started. Uh, Catching a rocket, back on a launch pad, landing it back after it's been to space, it's a huge, huge thing. NGOs should be roped into deal with Bangladeshi infiltration into Santhal Pargana. The National Commission for Scheduled Tribes (NCST) recommended that non-state actors, especially NGOs, should be roped in to deal with the alleged problem of infiltration. The districts most affected in the last 7 decades are Sahibganj, Pakur, Goda, and Jamtara. India, China, and New Delhi's quad dilemma. US to send missile defense systems and troops to Israel. US will send thermal high altitude area defense THAAD battery to Israel along with troops to operate it. This further increases the risk of fueling up the conflict in West Asia. The THAAD delivery dates are not confirmed. The THAAD is considered a complementary system to Patriot but can defend a wider area. It can hit targets at the range of 150 to 200 kilometers. What is Vayanad's new X band radar? Sport news at a glance. Siddhan Divij pair triumphs in Portugal. Second seed Siddhan Bantia and Divij Sharan beat Portugal's Diego Marquez and Alejandro Alvarez 6-1, 6-3 in the final of the $25,000 ITF men's tennis tournament in Sintra, Portugal on Sunday. We'll move on to October 15th. Short is good to know. The September retail inflation in 9-month high is at a 9-month high at 5.5%, mainly due to resurgence in the food prices rise to 9.24%. India expels 6 Canadian diplomats and will pull back its High Commissioner. Canada claims to expel 6 Indian diplomats, happenings related to the Niger row. The Niger row that has happened between the row that has been happening between Canada and India, again, very important with respect to geopolitics and with respect to your electorate and SSB. Congress expresses concerns on removal of the health warnings from packets of fortified rice given through the public distribution system (PDS) network, pointing to the risk that it has for people with genetic conditions such as thalassemia and sickle cell anemia. Taliban vows to implement media ban on images of living things. Nobel Prize in Economics goes to Darren Acemoglu, Simon Johnson, and James Robinson for research into wealth inequality between nations. Center invites legislators from Manipur to peace talks today. The Union Ministry of Home Affairs (MHA) invited Manipur MLAs from all three major communities, Meitei, Kuki-Zo, and Naga, for a meeting. The meeting is being convened by the IB, Intelligence Bureau. The Naga community has been trying to facilitate dialogue between the two communities for a very long time. Government notifies curbs on firecrackers. GRAP Stage 1 kicks in. Delhi government notified a total ban on production, sale, storage, and bursting of firecrackers till January 1st, 2025. Earlier, the CAQM prohibited all construction activities and demolitions being carried out in plots measuring 500 square meter and above. The step is under the Stage 1 of GRAP, very, very important, Graded Response Action Plan to the Delhi pollution. Stage 1 also includes periodic mechanized sweeping, use of anti-smog guns, and prohibition on the use of diesel generators. India-Russia discuss training of sailors for polar navigation, development of joint projects. India-Russia Working Group on Cooperation in the Northern Sea Route, NSR, held their first meeting and discussed targets for India-Russian cargo transit, possible training of Indian sailors for polar navigation, and development of joint projects in Arctic shipbuilding. An MOU has been drafted for the development of cooperation in cargo shipping in the waters of NSR. Ongoing is the project to develop the Great Northern Sea Route. This is a sea route that is being developing, and it is a MOU signed between India and Russia. Important point. Israel brutality in Gaza, India's pin drop silence. Again, very important to read what India has to think on the Gaza issue, on the war between Israel and Hamas. Army to get choppers from private firms to serve remote posts. In a first of its kind association with the private sector, the Army has entered into contract civil aviation service providers for helicopter support to the Army posts along the northwestern and western borders that are cut off during the winters. Under the civil aviation, choppers will be employed and is thus critical in increasing the service life of military choppers for more critical roles. It will cover 16 posts in Jammu, 28 in Kashmir, and Ladakh for a year. Liu and Jin are the athletes of the year. Olympic 50-meter rifle three position champion Yukan Lui of China was declared the athlete of the year by the International Shooting Sports Federation (ISSF) during the opening ceremony of the World Cup final at the Dr. Karni Singh Range, Tughlakbagh on Monday. We move on to October 16th. Delhi deploys 99 teams to inspect construction sites and ensure compliance with dust control norms and 324 anti-smog guns. We've read in the previous slide. Parmesh Sivamani took over as the 26th Director General of the Indian Coast Guard. EU sanctions Iran over missile supplies to Russia. Sanctions imposed on Iran Air and 7 individuals. Special train for farmers to transport harvest flagged off. Union Railway Ministry flagged off a special train, Shedkari Samriddhi Kisan, connecting Devlali and Maharashtra to Danapur in Bihar. The freight cost is set at less than 28 paisa per kg over the 1,515 kilometer route. This is a pilot project, and if succeeds, much more trains will be flagged off. A food sufficient India needs to be hunger free too. Kukizo Mete Naga MLAs meet. MLAs from the three communities meet and have unanimously resolved to appeal to the people of all communities in the state to shun the path of violence. The MLAs had met only the government officials in a separate room and not with the MLAs of other communities. India US conclude 3.5 billion deal for procurement of 31 MQ-9B armed UAVs. Very important. The HALE, High Altitude Long Endurance Remotely Piloted Aircraft Systems (RAPS) are manufactured by the General Atomics in the US. They can be operated for all the three services. The deal also includes 150 AGM-114R Hellfire missiles, 170, 16 M36E9 Hellfire captive air training missiles, 310 GBU laser small diameter bombs (SDBs), and 8 GBU LSDB guided test vehicles with light fuses. Center sets up 3 AI research hubs on health, agri, and cities. The 3 centers of excellence COE in AI in healthcare, agriculture, and sustainable cities are to be set up. The COE in healthcare will be owned by AIMS and IIT Delhi, IIT Ropar, and will lead to the COE in agriculture. IIT Kanpur will lead the development of COE in sustainable cities. The financial cost incurred will be INR 990 crore over the next 4 years. UAE to review India's concerns over silver import surge. India raised concerns over a jump in import of silver products, platinum alloy, and dry dates from the UAE. India seeks review from the FTA with UAE that came into the effect in 2022. UAE is the third largest trading partner of India in 2023 to 2024. Very important, third largest. Those who don't know what an FTA is basically a free trade agreement between two countries, which allows non-taxable, मतलब कुछ goods जो हैं उनको tax नहीं करता है, ठीक है? So that is what an FTA means. It is to increase trading between two countries. Sonam Maskar hoisted the Indian flag by winning the women's air rifle silver behind Olympic champion Huang Yuting of China in the shooting World Cup final at the Dr. Karni Singh Range, Tughlakbagh. October 17th, we've come. National Conference Vice President Omar Abdullah has been sworn as the Chief Minister of J&K, his second term as Chief Minister after 2009. Sorry. Omar Abdullah has been sworn in as the Chief Minister of J&K. We had, I think, I remember, we had उस time पे I think एक दो about 3-4 weeks पहले I had covered a video where uh, this was going on, the elections of J&K for the first time after a very long time. India's goods trade deficit narrowed sharply in September to a low of $21 billion relative to August $29 billion. Outbound petroleum products shipments from India declined to $4.7 billion, the lowest in 32 months. Center increased MSP for wheat, five other rabi crops. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs increased the MSP for rabi crops for 2005 to 2006, 2025 to 26. MSP for wheat went up by INR 150 quintal per quintal. MSP was also increased for barley, gram, lentil, rapeseed, and mustard and sunflower. I think it's sunflower or safflower, I'm not sure. Karnataka government announces Kaveri Stage 6 project. Karnataka CM said the project will be implemented to ensure the future water needs of Bangalore through Kaveri Stage 5 project. 2025 million liters per day of water is being supplied to meet the city's demands. The water will be supplied to 110 villages. The stage 6 will bring an additional 6,000 million cubic feet of water in the city. What does the Global Hunger Index 2024 state about India? Five Eyes support Canada in Five Eyes supports Canada in spat with India on Niger. The United Kingdom showed full confidence in the Canadian judicial process, thus expanding the ambit of the unprecedented diplomatic crisis that has broken out between India and Canada over the alleged involvement of Canada-based Indian diplomats in the 2023 killing of pro-Khalistan preacher Hardeep Singh Nijjar. The Five Eye countries like Australia, Canada, New Zealand, UK, and US often coordinate closely on issues of common security interest. So this is not good for India. Climate change impact harsher on poor farmers in India. FAO reports poor household globally lose 5% of their total income from heat stresses and 4.4% from floods compared with households that are relatively better. In case of droughts and or such events, poor household dedicated more time and resources to agriculture production to sustain themselves. As of farm employment opportunities reduced. India has already implemented national innovations on climate resilient agriculture, NICRA. Very important, very important with respect to your exam point of view to address the problem of climate change. Sports shows Akhil Sharan spectacularly rose to third place in the rifle three position event at Dr. Kanni Singh Range, Tughlaq Park. October 18th, we've come. Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, architect of October 7, 2023 attack. Yahya Sinwar has been killed by the IDF. Yahya Sinwar, the Hamas leader, is the biggest blow that Hamas has got till now. This is the biggest blow to them. CGI DY Chandrachud writes the Union Law Ministry naming Justice Sanjeev Khanna as its successor. Nayab Singh Saini took oath as the Haryana CM for the second time. New statue for the Lady Justice, the Goddess of Justice, dressed in white traditional attire without archetypal blindfold and sword, has been adopted. Now holding the scales in one hand and the Constitution in the other. Yeah. So Lady Justice, basically, which was the symbol of the judicial system, that she used to wear a blindfold and a sword in one hand and a scale on the other hand. But now that has been changed. Of one hand is holding the Constitution and the other is holding the scales. So it's a good thing. India's logistics cost to come down to 9% of GDP as a result of construction of highways and expressways in next 2 years. Bangladesh International Crimes Tribunal issued arrest warrants against former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. 4-1 Supreme Court upholds citizenship provisions for the migrants to Assam from East Pakistan. Upheld the constitutional validity of Section 6A of the Citizenship Act 1955, which sets the cutoff date for entry into Assam for grant of citizenship. Section 6A was introduced in 1985 following the signing of the Assam Accord between the center and agitating groups in the state. The petitioners, including the NGO Assam Public Works and the Assam San Milita Mahasangha and others. China cautions India over Taiwan de facto consulted at Mumbai. China urged India to handle Taiwan issues with caution and avoid interference in the improvement of the Sino-India relation following the opening of another Taiwan de facto consulate in Mumbai. China opposes moves by any country it has ties with to engage in official contacts with Taiwan. Taiwan opened a third office in India. A kind of hope. Minister Jaishankar visit to Islamabad has reignited optimism about the possibilities and potential of a departure from adversarial postures. Direct tax shares up at 57% of total tax revenue, highest in 14 years. The share of indirect tax to total tax revenue is down to 43%. An increase in direct tax has considered progressive as it is linked to income levels. Maharashtra, Karnataka, Delhi, Tamil Nadu, and Gujarat are the top 5 states as per the share in direct tax. So we're done. तो आज की वीडियो में बस इतना ही. आप हमसे दोबारा कनेक्ट होंगे. Till then, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, Telegram, WhatsApp, and LinkedIn. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
So that's it from today's video, and please follow us on every social media platform for more such good content. And Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.